Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. We have another product review. The guys over at Fanttik, like you can see here, sent us one of their portable air inflators. This is the X8 Apex, you can see on the box. So I have opened this up, but with all my product reviews, I like to show you guys how it's all packaged. I just wanted to make sure it was charged up because this thing is wireless. So if you are needing it in your vehicle, or anything. You can be riding a bike, electric scooters are big now, electric bikes, basically anything with rubber tires or anything that needs air. You can bring this thing with you camping. You can use it to blow up your floaties on the lake or whatever the case is. You can bring it to your kids' sports games. You can pump up any sort of ball or anything like that. So super easy, super light. So let's get it open, show you what all comes with it, and we'll give her a test and see exactly how well it works. All right, so now inside the box, you get the actual box here, and you can see it says it can do a max of 150 PSI, and you got their fancy logo on here again. You open up the top, give it a little shake, and there you go. Right on top is your actual pump itself. Comes wrapped up in the plastic. Like I said, I've had it open. I just wanted to make sure it was charged up and ready to go. We'll open that in a sec. If you keep coming in the box here, you open this up. This is the little foam block just to keep this thing snug. And in here, you get a little box of goodies that go with this thing. And then inside your box of goodies, you get this other little plastic baggie here, and inside is your USB. This is to actually charge this thing when the battery finally decides to die. You get your standard little inflator here. This works for, like I said, any sort of ball or sports. If you're a big sports guy, you got kids in sports, this could definitely come in handy. You got your little adapter for different types of ends and everything on there. You get your user manual. That tells you everything you need to know. If I don't go over everything in this video, if you have any questions and you pick this up, that will be in there. Then of course you get your hose. One side threads into the pump itself. The other side you can of course put your adapters on for whatever you're pumping it up for. And a really nice touch is it actually comes with this bag. So like I said, if you're a bike rider or something where maybe you'll have a little backpack with you, or you're out on your quad or side by side, you don't have to have this box. Of course, when a box gets wet, gets all gross, it'll deteriorate, especially if you're out in the bush. So having this bag, you can just throw it in here, close it up. This can fit in a backpack, in a little case, whatever. You can even just hang it off your handlebars if you want to. Just a nice touch. You don't actually have to carry the big box with you everywhere you go. Throw it in the bag. Of course, everything else will fit in there as well. Everything in one spot. Easy to use, easy to grab when you need it, and it doesn't take up all the space. And again, this thing is super light, so it's not like you're carrying around a ton of weight. You're not going to even notice it's in there. And now, moving on to the pump itself. Here it is. Like I said, nice and lightweight. It's maybe 6-7 inches long, couple inches wide. It's a square. You do have a light up top, also where your hose threads in to actually pump stuff up. And then on the bottom, you can see you have a USB and a USB-C port. Nice thing about this is not only is it wireless, so like I said, you can plug this in, charge it up, and you're good to go. But the other nice thing is it's actually a little power dock. So if you have this on you and you want to throw a couple extra percentage of power into your phone or whatever, you can actually plug it into the bottom and it'll take power out of this thing, because this battery is much bigger and heavy dutier than any cell phone would have. It'll actually take the power out of here and you can charge your phone, or if you got a small light or whatever, you can plug it all in there and give yourself a little more juice using your pump here. And then up top, speaking of lights, you actually have a little light. So if you're in the dark and you need a flashlight or something, or you're trying to pump something up, you got to see what you're doing. You might not have a light on you. This has one built in. So easy, everything you need right there in the palm of your hand. and you're ready to start pumping up whatever you need to pump up. And now, to test this thing out, to turn it on, you have your power button right there, smack dab in the middle. Just hold it down for a couple seconds, and she turns right on. You can see right now, we're 3/4 charged. It's showing 0 for what it's pumping up because we aren't having it on, clearly. And it's set to 27 PSI right now. So if you go up and down here, if you're pumping up something you need lower PSI, it's easy as that. You just push it, it goes down to whatever number you need. And same thing, if you want to go up, you wait a second. When it blinks, like that, now it is set to that PSI. So if we're pumping up something to 27, you plug this in, turn it on, it'll pump up. When it hits 27, it'll shut off. And then as for shutting off, say we leave this here now and we aren't touching it, it's not being used. After 3 minutes, it has an automatic shut off. So if you happen to, say, bump this button, maybe you have it in the bag, and you accidentally turn this thing on, don't realize it, it's not going to drain the battery in your bag. After 3 minutes, it's going to realize you're not using it, and it will shut itself off. And now, again, if you're pumping something up, say maybe you're pumping up to 27, you have it hooked up to your vehicle, it's pumping up, gets to 27, this thing will shut off automatically. And again, after 5 minutes, because it was just pumping, after 5 minutes, again, it will shut itself off. So you don't have to worry about pumping this up. Maybe you're doing this in your garage like I am. You have a flat tire in the morning. If you don't have a bigger pump, you hook this thing up to your car. It is a small pump, so it's not going to be a super quick process. If it's more than a few PSI, especially on a bigger vehicle, it's going to take longer. So you can hook this up to your car, you can run upstairs, make a coffee, have some breakfast, whatever, and you don't have to worry about coming back down because 1, it'll turn itself off when it's at the PSI, and 2, it'll actually shut off so you're not wasting your battery. And then for charging, when you plug this in and you're charging the device, you'll get these 4 little bars here. You can see it's not fully charged, but if you're under 25%, just the first one will blink. When you get between 25 and 50%, the first one will go solid and the second one will blink. Same thing when you get to 50 to 75%, which is where we're at now. The first 2 will be solid, third one will blink, and then when you're 75 to 100%, the third one will be solid and the fourth one will blink, and then when you're fully charged 100%, it'll be like it is now, everything solid, except of course that last black spot there will be filled in. All right, and now this is the one thing that I find is a downfall to this. It's not anything major, just something that maybe they can fix in the future pumps that they come out with, and that is to thread the hose into the actual pump. You have to spin the whole hose, and you can see, because the hoses are never straight, when you spin it, this thing's flopping all around the place. But all they have to do is, like if you look on the other side of the hose here, to put your adapters on and stuff, this thing spins on its own. So you could put it up, you can just thread it in like this, nice and easy. Whereas this side, to actually thread it into the pump, like I said, it would be nice just to be able to thread it like that. One less connector, doesn't make a big difference. I think it'd be easy for them to switch. So if the guys at Fanttik are watching this video, maybe that could be something on a future model. Have it on the other side. Just a little easier to have it right here, spin it on quickly, and you're good to go. But at least the other side, they do have that, because if you're threading onto something, say like a tire, then of course you don't want to have to be spinning this hose all over the place and then trying to spin the pump on. It would just be a pain. But this side, you don't have to worry. This thing spins, easy to thread on, easy to thread off, and you're not going to be stuck outside with a big hassle on your hands. And one last little feature that these guys throw in, which is kind of nice, is if you're not 100% sure how you're supposed to pump things up, maybe you don't do this often, you're not sure what PSI you're aiming for, they actually put in a little chart in here. You got bikes, motorcycles, cars, and different sorts of balls. And it gives you different size tires and all that stuff, what you're on, and then it gives you a PSI of what you should aim for. So it might not be 100% correct for what you're on, but it'll be close enough not to wreck anything and get you to where you're going to get it properly fixed or whatever the case is. But it's a nice little touch that they throw into the little user manual here. All right, so that's enough talking about the pump. Let's actually see how she works. So we are set to 27 PSI. Now, if you come down here, say you're pumping on the side of the road, you got a little light button here on the left-hand side. You push that, and like I said, you got an LED on the front of this thing. Of course, the lights are on in my garage, but it's LED light. It's plenty bright enough. And then for a safety feature, say you're on the side of the road, you can point this thing towards oncoming traffic or whatever the case may be. If you push this again, it has a little strobe feature. So it'll blink on and off like this, all different increments, so it kind of gets people's attention. If you're on the side of the road, you don't have to worry about somebody come flying up and run you over. Then push it again, and she's off. Another nice thing for this, if you come on the right-hand side, we're set for 27. This is kind of the manual setting. But say you have a truck like me, I got a SUV here, I got my kids' bikes, I got basketballs, such and such. You can actually hit this, and it has presets. So you can see, this shows a car, so your vehicle. My truck here takes 35 PSI, so you can go down, it'll blink. Now the presetting for the vehicle is at 35. You hit it again, now say you have a motorcycle. So let's say my SUV here is a motorcycle. It needs to be at whatever, let's say 26. It'll actually only let you go down that far because anything lower for a motorcycle is not recommended. So you hit it again. Now we're at a bicycle. So say you got an electric bike or just a normal bicycle and you want to put that sucker to 41. And again, presets it, let it blink, locked in. Then the last one, for sports and stuff, you got a little basketball it shows. So say you only want it at 6 PSI. Hold it, blinks. Now it's all preset. All right, now for the actual test itself. I put it on my truck here. This thing, keep in mind, is not actually made for something this large. It's more for a small car and below. So if it can pump this up, because obviously a truck is way heavier than anything else, you'll have no problem, of course, for your bike, sports equipment, floaties for the lake, whatever the case may be. So I have it at 34 right now. That's what it's picking up out of the tire. So to turn this sucker on, you just push. And there you go. You can see I wasn't actually holding it. I was just holding it from vibrating off the box, and got up to 36. And now when it turns to 36, it does not shut off right away. It gives it the extra bit. Reason being, every time you take this thing off now, you lose just that little bit. Sometimes it's worse. These are brand new tires. The older tires, sometimes the valve's a little screwed up and you lose a little bit. So it's nicer if they pump it up a little bit over whatever you're aiming for, because then when you lose a little bit, removing this thing or putting it on, whatever, you don't have to worry about it throwing off your PSI. But it's quite loud, but this is also in a garage. So if you're outside, not a big deal. And it took maybe a minute and a half to do the 2 PSI. It did suck down 1 bar of battery right away, but I also have not charged this thing. It was charged like this right outside the box. So I'm not actually sure what the battery is percentage-wise inside, but it did suck down 1 bar. And I would say if it can pump up a tire like this, like it just did, you'll have no issues for any smaller vehicles. A bike and sports equipment and stuff like that would be a breeze for this thing. Super easy. A couple seconds, it'll pump up your whole tire. But you can see it does work. On and off feature works just fine. And then last but not least for this thing, if you are wanting to pump up some major differences, say we're at 36 right now, if you want to pump up something way down there, just hold down and you got the quick flip through all the different PSI. It goes down to 3. Then say you want to go all the way up to the max. This thing does 150 like the box says. Hold up and she'll climb You can pick, you don't have to singly press one after the other to get where you're going. Just up and up and up and up. Nice and quick. You can go all the way from 3 up to your 150, just like that. It'll stop on its own. So there you go, guys. That's your little review of the Fanttik X8 Apex here. You can get this thing on Amazon. Read the reviews on there. Highly, highly recommended by everybody. It's got awesome reviews. #1 recommended on Amazon. You can pick it up. They sent this out to me when they sent me the shipping notice. It was here in 1 day. It was here the next morning. So super quick shipping. And you get this nice carrying bag. There you go. Everything's in there. User manual, hose, pump, and the fittings. Everything that was in that box fits in here nicely. So you can throw this thing in your trunk, throw it in your glove box, throw it in your backpack, whatever the case may be. Super lightweight, works very well. Nice compact design. Everything fits. Not going to be a hassle to carry around. And you're all set to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. I'll drop a link down below if you want to pick this thing up, and you can decide where you want to go from there. Let me know what you think of this video. If you want to see more reviews, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let these guys know if you pick this thing up, you watch this video. I'm not paid at all for this. They sent it out just to give an honest review. So that's what I'm doing. Works well. If it can pump up the truck, it's going to pump up anything you're trying to do with it. So nice and easy. Pick it up, throw it in your glove box. Less hassle, less worry when you're out and about doing your thing. And it looks very nice in its little baggie here.